All right, what is up, guys? Happy New Year's Eve. And I just realized I think I forgot to delete the previous video. I deleted it, but I didn't delete it from trash. And of course, this phone is trash, so it doesn't automatically delete things from my trash when I run out of space. But we'll see what happens. Maybe it does. I've never actually tested it now that I think about it. Uh, Happy New Year Eve, everyone. I don't think there's enough of that for that. I was gonna make the Christmas at Biltmore, but there's only like less than 1/3 of this left, and we've made 2 pots of it so far, which means I would probably need slightly more than 1/3. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix it in with the other flavored coffees, and now there's like 6 different coffees in this thing. Uh, I don't know if it's actually 6. I'm pretty sure I just add 2 numbers every time I add one. There's the Christmas at Biltmore, which is the Colombian Supremo chocolate and peppermint, but it's like very, very mild peppermint. I didn't even taste it the first time I drank it. Then we've got the hazelnut and the blueberry, and I think there's also the Barismo Holiday Blend. So there's 4 different coffees in here. Let's go ahead and shake this up and throw it all together. A new flavor for the new year, right? So I got a medium amount of progress. Let me count this out because I'm terrible at multitasking that. 2, 3, 4, 5. I will lose count immediately if I'm just talking while I'm scooping those in there. I'll be like 3 or 4 in and I'll be like, how many have I done so far? But yeah, so I got a medium amount of progress yesterday, but I needed, well, I guess I didn't need to, but I decided to go to a wake for an extended family member in a town about an hour away. I didn't track the time. And the trip actually flew because I went with 2 other family members down there to see it. And I think it's just important to spend time with the family you have while you still have them, you know? I think friends and just people in general are important. You know, it's people that make the world go around, not fucking money. I don't care what anyone says. But it was nice to see those extended family members because I haven't seen them for a couple years now. It's just been not as much traveling for the holidays as we used to do. And it's a shame that it was such a sad occasion, you know? But it was nice to see them all the same. It's also nice to spend some time talking with my cousin and uncle. Had some interesting conversations on the drive. It was arguably one of the best road trips I've ever had in my life, even though it was a very short one. But also during the ride, got a message on Instagram that absolutely warmed my heart. So I think it's just really important, especially during the holidays, to spend time with the people you love, whether they're friends or family or online internet acquaintances, you know. I'm not going super hard today. Because I spent that time at the wake and traveling, I did not yet do the meal preps I was talking about. I might do that. I'm not sure how I feel about that yet. Today is supposed to be a chill day, and I might crack open a bottle of wine or 2 later. And I'm not making any plans for today. You know, it is New Year's Eve. Just chilling. I'm gonna play it by ear, do whatever I feel like. I'm probably gonna move a few things around the house to prepare for the next stage of the renovations, but that should be Very, very little. The important thing is, I did, before I left to go on the drive, start the last conversion of the stream into uploadable form for YouTube and get the second to last one uploaded or start uploading. I woke up. Oh wait, I think it was the second and third, and then when I got back, I did the last and second to last. And I woke up today, and all the YouTubes all the streams for YouTube have been converted to MP4 format, and I've normalized the volume. And today we started uploading that last stream. So that means 95% of the video backlog is done. Now all I need to do is edit and upload the videos to the main channel, which are mostly my cereal taste testing videos, my generic versus brand name comparison videos, things like that. They're all like 10 minutes or less, so they shouldn't take very much time, but I'm thinking I probably do that on the first or the second, just because I want to hang out with people today on the internet, but still. Also, just after all the holiday push, and I've been doing the constant grind. We are on schedule for the the new OS installation. I don't know where my mug is. We'll just grab a new one. It's not going to be the same full size mug we normally have. My sister got me these mugs for Christmas one year. There's a Stormtrooper one and a Darth Vader one. It's the expressions of a Stormtrooper, and I think it's funny. Sleepy, cheerful, frustrated, and excited. There's other ones on the other side too. Happy, angry, sad. What the hell is that bottom one? Confused. And there's just all the helmets. We have the Darth Vader mask. I have that one over here too. Where is that? I actually use this on Christmas because I have a Darth Vader Christmas ugly sweater I was wearing for Christmas, so I thought that was appropriate. But yeah, we're using this mug today. Doesn't hold anywhere near the same amount, but we're gonna rock with it. Means I can pour the cup earlier, I guess, right? Because we got plenty of coffee in there right now. So I'm just chilling today. I'm gonna work on that final. Well, I don't need to do any work on it. Eventually I'll need to set all the names and stuff. But like I said, that's a whole project for when I sit down to do all of them. The only things I might really do today are the meal preps, because the sooner I get those, the better, because the longer I wait, the greater the chance some of that goes bad, especially the eggs. But, excuse me. A little bit of just tidying up around the house for the next stage of renovation. And I might take a photograph. I probably will. One thing I want to talk about is New Year's That's pretty good. Okay. I like it. It's very bold. It's like a very bold flavor of all those coffees mixed together. Can definitely taste the Colombian Supremo or whatever. Supremo. I don't know how to pronounce it. I want to talk about New Year's resolutions. I don't do New Year's resolutions. I think New Year's resolutions suck, and all of them are destined to fail, right? Because there's two reasons why. It's not internalized. It's kind of an external thing, It's like based on the new year and not based on you. The other reason why is because they often create this success barrier type thing where framing it as a New Year's resolution, especially the way lots of people set them up or word them, like, oh, I'm going to run 10 miles every week this year or whatever. That creates a dichotomy where failure is easy and failure essentially means falling off the wagon, and most people, once they fall off, never get back on, right? So I don't set any kind of New Year's resolution ever. What I do is I take a look at myself and I wouldn't even call them goals so much as adjustments to my life, you know? The big thing, there's two, no, we'll go ahead and call them goals. I don't like necessarily calling them goals because, again, language gets weird for some people. If you have a trouble with goal setting and like not achieving your goals, then don't call them goals. Find another name to call them. These are, we have a primary quest and a side quest. There we go. Let's rely on my obnoxious, degenerate video game habits to clarify it better. So, my primary quest for this year is to just up my content creation game in every way, shape, and form. This is the first year, actually, that I'm going 100% full tilt onto it. I think I've managed to figure out a formula that will work for me, that will allow me to continue to do full-time content creation. Hopefully I'll be able to hire at least an editor and maybe a manager this year, and then we'll just scale to levels never seen before on this channel or any of my content, you know. But the important thing is that, especially now that we're coming, okay, so we have found out without a shadow of a doubt that it will not automatically delete trash to make space for new things. Why such a basic feature is not automatically included in a phone created by Google, which is the flagship company of Android for all intents and purposes, is utterly beyond me. I'm not going to go rant about doc patterns today. We've done enough of that in previous videos, and we're focused on more positive outlooks. But, what the hell was I saying? Let me take a moment to refocus. Oh, yes, my primary and my main quests and side quests for the year. My main quest is absolutely to focus on content creation, level it up in every way, shape, and form. We are going to sound treat the studio within the next week or so, and then I'll be able to start working on music, and also just the streams in general will sound better. Also, we're coming up on just the end of most of the renovations in general. We're hoping most of the renovations will be done around April, I think, is the plan. I gotta double check. The plan changes sometimes, but yeah, hopefully everything, if not mostly everything, if not everything, should be done by then. And at that point, I can spend less time setting this place up for my parents. And all that time that was devoted to helping out my parents will be refocused towards content creation and building businesses once I have the startup capital to do that. I have about a dozen business ideas, some of which would be potentially billions in revenue if I can get them off the ground. Uh, so the main thing I just need is startup capital. And they all need the business plans fleshed out a little bit. Right now, they're rough sketches, but it's a matter of spending your time efficiently, right? It's like, why would I spend a week coming up with a business plan for a business I don't even know if I'll be able to start this year, right? So definitely prioritization is important. And right now, the priority is finishing the studio and finishing the renovations and continuing to make content and as I have time freed up from the renovations, I'll do more edits and things like that. Do more researched videos. It's just a matter of 2025 really ended up being a holding pattern year where, for all intents and purposes, I was effectively one making content for myself. That's what these coffee vlogs ended up turning into, just like a way to put things out there that I couldn't keep in my head anymore, especially like the hour plus and the 1 5 hour long one. But those are on YouTube, obviously, because they don't fit on Instagram or TikTok. So if you want to see those, go ahead and check out the main YouTube. But uh, the second half of it was for the community, I had a pretty good community of loyal followers and fans back in 2019 and 2020 before my life fell apart and I fell off. And I just wanted to keep putting stuff out there this year to let them know I'm doing better and coming back full time. I appreciate everyone who's supported me through the whole process. There are many OGs that still just show up to every stream, and I think it's funny that Twitch fucked with the metrics because a lot of my OGs are lurkers, and I don't know why. I know they're not bots, right? Because I've watched some of these people on their streams. They've been following me for years, but there'll be times where it says, especially like early in the stream, I have 3 viewers, but there's like 5 people talking in chat. I'm not sure how that works, but okay, Twitch, you do you. Twitch is cooked, honestly. I think Kick is going to unseat Twitch in the near future as the number one streaming platform, at least for regular live streams. YouTube, I think, is technically the number one streaming platform, but that's because of shit like the Olympics and stuff, which fucks with all the numbers. So the side quest is I really want to focus on my physical health a lot, right? Back in 2019, I was doing the fitness streams, and I'm not sure if I'm going to bring those back. I'm still on the fence about that because they just take too long, really, is the thing. It makes my workout take twice as long, pretty much, as it should. But I do want to start doing the full workout again. I've been doing a lot of push-ups again for like a couple months now, I think. Primarily, at least a month, if not 2. Primarily thanks to a content creator on Instagram. You'll probably see me shared some of her posts, so I'll let that shout itself out. But I'm really, really intent on getting back to working out more consistently, especially because once I wrap up the renovations here, that's currently most of my physical activity, and especially working harder than ever on content creation, sitting 60 hours a week in a computer chair just is not good for your body. Our bodies weren't designed to do that. We were designed to move. So the side quest for me this year is to get back to weightlifting. And I don't know what my weight is at right now. I don't have a scale. I've asked my parents to bring the scale up from Pittsburgh, but they forgot, and I forgot last time I was there. But I want to get up to 180 pounds of pure muscle. I don't, I have no idea what I'm at, but I'm sure it's not 180. And if it is 180, it's not a good 180, But that was what I was working on in when I was doing full-time weightlifting, when I had my FNX affiliate link, which I may still have, but I don't know if it's still active. So the first thing that happens generally when you start working out, at least the way I was working out, which was just full body workouts primarily for stamina rather than strength, is you're gonna start cutting fat, especially if you're getting into the higher heart rate, doing fair amounts of cardio and stuff like that. I don't have a bicycle anymore. I guess that was probably partially when I stopped. I wrecked my bicycle when I was back in Pittsburgh, and I couldn't get it repaired. And at first, people had offered to repair it or replace it for my birthday, and then they decided that cost too much money. So, if you're not going to do something for me, don't tell me you're going to do it and then change your mind, especially when it was something that was that important for me. Because that was really demoralizing for me. I think that was the moment where I really stopped working out at all. Because I used to ride my bike several times a week. And at first, I was doing 16-mile rides down to downtown Pittsburgh and back. Then I kind of fell off for a little bit, and I got back to the point where I was just going around my town. But even then, I would do several loops around the town, do 4 or 5 miles. And the main reason I was only doing the town wasn't really because I lacked the stamina, but because I lacked the strength. There's a lot of hills around Pittsburgh. So riding into the city from where I was is no easy task. And I knew I'd probably get exhausted and stranded and need to call someone to come drive me back or something. Or at least it would just take fucking hours because I'd have to take breaks. So, but yeah, eventually I wrecked my bike. It was in the town because the town that I grew up in has a bunch of old streets that are made out of bricks, and they are difficult to maintain, to say the least. I also think that the town squanders money on things it shouldn't, when it should really just fix the roads. But I had a brick basically fuck up my bike, send me over my handlebars. All I really got were a few scrapes on my shin. I'm actually very lucky because it happened right by an intersection, sent me flying into the intersection. Fortunately, all of the cars were paying attention. A couple dudes got out, check on me, see if I was all right. I was basically fine. I've taken worse hits than that in my life before, and but my bike was fucked. I had to just walk it back, and it would have been several $100s to get it fixed, which I couldn't afford at the time. So ever since then, I kind of stopped focusing on fitness, and that's been 2 or 3 years now, and I've not been great about that. I've been doing a little better here. My mental health has been much better since I got out of Pittsburgh in some ways. It was mostly that house that I lived in Pittsburgh that was fucking me up because I was forced to live in a hoarder house and none of the shit was mine and there was nothing I could do about it, essentially. And again, it's all my fault because I agreed to move back in there knowing what it would be like. But I only agreed to move back in there because promises were made and those promises weren't kept. So, at least up here, the only mess I have to contend with is my own mess. I still haven't cleaned off this table, by the way. I got other things done in time for the family, but yeah, we still have the same things all over this table. We have my I love this little hammer. This is so nice for all kinds of basic renovations, you know? Uh anyways, this is like the most ADHD video I've done in a long time, I think. But let me refocus real quick. This is good. So that's the side quest. And the other thing I might do today that I'm on the fence about, that I'm probably going to do mostly because that other content creator is motivating me to treat myself better. Every time I open Instagram to post these videos, shouting at me to do push-ups, and it works. I love it. Originally, I was struggling to do 20. Like 20 would exhaust me. I thankfully I never reached the point where I couldn't do 20 push-ups. I feel like if I reached the point where I couldn't do 20 push-ups, I would have been really depressed and down on myself. And by the way, if you can't do 20, that's no it's nothing for you to feel bad about personally, right? We all have different ranges of athletic capability. I used to play every sport under the sun. So not being able to do 20 push-ups would be abysmal for me. I'm now back up to the point where I can do 30 pretty consistently. Like, it's not that I have any problems doing 30. I always do 30 every time. But weirdly, there are some days where it's like doing 30 push-ups is harder than others. Doing 20 is trivial at this point. So it means it's working, definitely, you know? But just to put it into perspective, back when I was lifting, I would do 90. I would do 3 sets of 30. So not at the same time, but I would do 90 push-ups at the beginning of each new rotation. Do 30 at the beginning of each rotation. So I've got a long way to go to get back there, to say the least. One thing I've never, okay, the thing I'm gonna stop dancing around it and just say it. I'm considering posting like a before video. I've always had, what's the word? Body image issues. Well, not always. I guess since high school or college. When I was really young, I was like stupidly lean. You know, there's this picture of me. I'm just absolutely cut from when I was in Boy Scouts, when I would do all the hiking in the mountains and stuff. I was definitely like probably single digit body fat, but in a healthy way, like right around that 10%. There's a point where when you get too low body fat, it's just not good for you. And I'm not sure what that is. It's definitely different for every person. But I ever since then, like especially in college, once I stopped running cross country, that was the first time I put on weight, like significantly. And that was the only time I've ever been over 200 pounds. That was when I started saying like, shit, I need to take care of myself better. Like I was on the cross country team in college and then I stopped running cross country, but I kept eating like I was still on the cross country team. And I don't remember what year it was, but one of my college years, I ended up breaking the 200-pound limit. And it got to the point where you could see that I was starting to get fat in my face. And I was like, yo, I need to make a change. So, I'm all about accountability and stuff. So I'm kind of on the fence about posting a before picture. I've never done that before, right? Uh, it's like pretty common in a lot of the fitness influencer spheres to do like the before and after. And I feel like generally, I don't even like posing like that and stuff. For me, it's not about uh, the perception, it's about the perspective. And what my perspective is mostly a survival standpoint, right? I've always trained for stamina because for nearly 15 years, I was a firefighter. And stamina is what keeps you alive in a burning building. Well, stamina is what ensures that you can go and do that work for an hour straight. Stamina is what ensures that you can drag someone all the way out of that burning building or pry open a car with tools and stuff, right? There's a minimum level of strength necessary. I can promise you that hydraulic cutters aren't and spreaders are not light. But once you reach that minimum level of strength that's necessary, it's all about stamina, being able to deadlift the hydraulic cutters means nothing if you can't hold them there while the shit's flying all around, because it's not as simple as it looks. Once you turn them on and they start pulling the car apart, they are moving all over the place. It requires a whole lot of accessory muscles to keep them in place. That's why I've always preferred doing free weights too, because free weights are better for your accessory muscles than machines. And it's always just been a habit, really, to stay in shape more than any kind of, what's the word? Presentation. And that's what like posing for the camera to show off body state feels like to me. I've never done that really. There's been like once or twice where I kind of like teased it a little bit for weightlifting streams, but I've never just gone and posed in front of a camera to like observe the state of my fitness. So I'm kind of on the fence about doing that. This damn phone is really starting to piss me off. I'm like so annoyed that I think I started talking before I even hit the record button. Um, it says I have 69 gigabytes of video on here, but honestly, I can't even find where most of that is, and it's just insanely frustrating that the memory management is so bad on a phone that's made by one of the best, didn't mean best, biggest corporations of all time. I never had these kind of issues with my Samsung, and I'm hoping when I eventually have the time, installing Graphene OS will fix a lot of the issues, or at least give me more control and not have to worry about ads trying to sell me space whenever I run out of space. I know that'll be gone. Just de-Googling is one of the best things you can do in your whole life. But the thing that annoys me the most is every time I have to stop to delete shit, I lose my train of thought. And then it makes the videos take longer. Okay, so I'm not sure if I'll post, and I'm going to post it to social media for accountability. But I've always had like body image issues. So it's going to take me maybe some time to work up the courage to do that. But at the same time, I want a a comparison. You know, one of the things uh, I saw from Emily recently was her. She had a before and after where it showed like just what she managed to do with a year of daily push-ups, right? And I haven't done my push-ups yet today. I'm gonna do them as soon as I start sending this video. It takes like an hour to do these uploads because my internet is abysmal. So by the time you see this video, I've probably done the push-ups. And I'm considering whipping out the dumbbells today too, but that's partially going to depend on the timing of the Discord New Year's events participating into. I don't want to still be uh working with the dumbbells when I start digging into the wine, you know? My sister got the family a bottle of wine for Christmas, and they left it here when they all left and went back to their places. So I'm thinking we crack this open for the holiday New Year's celebrations tonight. I'm not really big into alcohol at all, but I am a fan of wine. I do like a fair bit of wine. Back when I did drink in college, I used to get boxes or like those 1.5 liters of wine. There's only two times in my life that I've actually blacked out. Once was the original Four Locos, which, oh my God, those are dangerous. And I kind of understand why they made them illegal. I think kind of just ruining fun. I don't think people's behavior should be regulated by the government to that level. I'm very much a libertarian. I think um, if someone wants to drink those Four Locos, go for it. The only other time I ever blacked out was one night. I think it was my roommate's girlfriend's birthday party. Or no, it wasn't. This was a different night. Oh no, I guess I didn't black out that night. I just kind of forgot. There was one other night where some of my friends, this was all at college. Like I grew out of this phase a long time ago. I'm 35 now, in case you guys are wondering. But there was one night where I went over to a friend's party, and he used to live above the Mr. Pizza. Some of my favorite friends that I made in college. And we were hanging out there, and the keg ran out, right? So I was upperclassman at this point, either junior or senior, probably junior, because senior year I was going through it. Didn't really party much that year, but it could have been. And he basically kicked out the underclassmen. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go. I have like a 6 pack of beer in my place, and I'm gonna go bring that back. And like we'll just chill at this point. There were like still people, like I think someone had a bottle of vodka or something, but it was just like there wasn't much alcohol left. The keg was kicked. The underclassmen were getting kicked out. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go get my 6 pack, and I'll be back. And I forgot that I'd been at the party already. I was like, so you guys had a party earlier, right? How was it going? They were like, bro, you were here 20 minutes ago. But the only other time I actually blacked out was, I think it was that night that it was my roommate's girlfriend's birthday party. And I drank about 2 liters of wine that night. I used to get boxed wine too, where I would just sit on Eve Online and drink a couple glasses of wine a night. So even then, I was like never really big into alcohol. I was more about the herbal supplements. I didn't like doing shots particularly, especially not Rumplements. Oh my god, I fucking hate Rumplements. That shit is disgusting. Anyways, I told you this is the most ADHD video I've done in a long time. So I don't. I do want to do a before picture just so I can see where I'm at right now and hold myself accountable for how far I've fallen off. I'm not full dad bod level, but I do have a bit of stomach fat that has not been there for many years, and I definitely want to lose that this year. So that's my side quest for this year. And here's the thing: I like framing it as a main quest and a side quest in video games because it's the barrier to like failure and success is kind of different and more spaced out than if you just make it a New Year's resolution or a goal. You can always log out of the video game and come back later and keep working on it, right? So it's like even if for whatever reason there's a couple days where I don't manage to do the full lifting regiment according to my schedule, or I take a few days off from content creation to just hang out with family or even just game or read to myself to reset my brain, it's not a failure of a New Year's resolution. It's not falling off the wagon or failing to achieve my goals, right? It's more of a pause. And I think it's really important to frame it like that because everyone's going to fail. It's just inevitable. Failure is inevitable. It's as long as you try. If you don't ever try, then you won't ever fail, but then you'll also be nothing for your entire fucking life. And that's not a reality I can abide. I like the movie The Fall of Troy, where Achilles is like talking to the young man before he goes off to war, and the I forget exactly what the young man says, but he says something like, "Oh, I could never do anything like that. That's just too much work. That's too difficult. That's too hard. It's too scary." Whatever it is he says, and Achilles just looks at him and he says, "And that is why no one will ever remember your name." And I was like, "Oh, damn." And here's the thing: I don't necessarily care about fame like that, but what I do want to do is leave a positive legacy. I think it's weird when Mike Tyson says, "I don't care about my legacy." I don't know if he's exactly being honest with himself, because maybe it's just I can't comprehend that mindset. I would love to sit down with the guy and talk to him if I ever have that level of emotion, you know? But for me, I think legacy is the most important thing. And maybe we have a different definition of legacy, right? For me, my legacy is how did I positively contribute to the world? And that's all I care about, really. I don't care about money. I don't care about fame. I care about when I meet God after I'm all done on this plane of existence. On this plane of existence, I want to be able to say, look him in the face and honestly say, I did my best to make the world a better place. That's all that really matters to me. And if I inspire one other person to treat life a similar way, to go around fighting evil and just doing their best to make the world a better place, then as far as I'm concerned, I've succeeded. but I'm also never willing to stop. So the moment I've inspired one person, I'm like, all right, how do I inspire two people? There's a song that I absolutely love that is one of my all-time favorite songs. It's "Take It to the Limit" by the Eagles, and the the title track, the title line, part of the refrain is "Take it to the limit one more time." And there's two types of people in the world, really. There's those, well, I guess there's three types of people. There's those that never take it to the limit ever, and they're just human NPCs that have no real contribution to society. They just follow someone else's lead at all times. Often, ironically, they're some of the happiest people in the world because it's the whole ignorance is bliss thing, right? They're cattle and they're happy to be cattle as long as they're fed. But then you have the other two types of people, the people that actually matter at some level, where there's the people that take it to the limit once and they're like, oh God, that was too hard. That was too much. Never doing that again. Those are the people that end up being miserable for their entire lives, right? They have goals, but they aren't willing to put in the work to achieve them. Then there's the other type of person, which is the type of person I've always been. I've just lacked focus, and I spent too many years allowing other people to influence my goals and push me towards things I never actually wanted to do in my life. There's the type of people that take it to the limit one more time. And here's the thing. You take it to the limit one more time over and over and over again. That's what the one more time means. That's the difference between taking it to the limits once and taking it to the limit one more time. Now, you can't take it to the limit infinite times because that's what leads to burnout. When you zoom out and ask yourself, how many times do I need to do this? Then everything feels impossible, right? Because the answer is you don't know, especially when it's something like what we're trying to do here on these channels. You just don't know how many times you need to take it to the limit before you find the success that you want. So when you zoom out and frame it like that, it's always going to look impossible because it's inconceivable. But what's not impossible is to just do it one more time, you know? So in 2026, I'm going to take both my content creation and my health and fitness to the limit one more time. And I hope that all of you who are watching this video can find something to take to the limit one more time. So all I have left to say at this point is Happy New Year's Eve. I love all of you, and God bless America. Cheers.